Hello. I haven't posted much the last few days. I have been active. Um, Bicycle ride yesterday. Bicycle ride back here behind me. Um, some strength training a little bit. The day before, 2.5 kilometer swim. Some strength training. Um, I'm really surprised to watch my swim time. It's yeah. I don't know why I'm going faster because I don't know why, but it's okay. I go faster, and it is what it is, and it's just like yeah, okay, that's amazing. Because for me, because swimming is a relatively new thing, meaning 10 years since I started swimming. Um, and so to go from zero almost, well, I would breaststroke. I did that for some quite some years, and would kind of paddle around and around the pool down the street. Sometimes go inside, but just always breaststroke. And then finally, in what 2016, I said I got to learn how to do the crawl if I'm going to do an Ironman. Yeah, of course. Let's do an Ironman at 66 with no history of training or fitness. So anyway, but that pushed me through the wall and got me to learn. And now it's like every time I swim, it's like it's amazing, you know. And also because I've had quite some challenges over the last few years physically. One of them recovering from the Ironman, but lung surgery and knee replacement and things like that. And that yeah, I'm back out there and doing it again. You know, whatever it is, swimming, biking, strength training, and do my work. Do my work. Um, I Yeah, I think some of you know that one thing that I've been doing for a while is yeah, sharing my experiences with others and supporting them through their process. And there were years and years and years ago when I did it, and it was part of my AA program was to go out and to share the message of recovery with those who still suffer. That's part of the dogma training precepts in Alcoholics Anonymous. And then I did sponsorship where I would be invited to by a recovering person to sponsor them, guide them through working the steps, and but the fundamental philosophy, as I understood it, was to just to share my experience, strength, and hope. That's what it says in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, to share our experience, strength, and hope. And during my early process of recovery, I got a lot of help from therapists and therapies and Alcoholics Anonymous. And some of the simple precepts that they had. And that's what I want to talk about right now because it's something that comes up again and again in my experience with people who choose to talk with me or that I hear online or whatever. And I've been blessed to have over 40 years of recovery, one day at a time. And I have watched hundreds of people come in to sobriety, whether it has to do with alcohol and drugs or codependency or obsessive compulsive disorders or whatever it might be that is their diagnosed, I don't diagnose, their diagnosed issue. And and how difficult it is to maintain abstinence, I guess. Don't drink, don't do drugs, don't smoke cigarettes. This is my story. and then it began about relationships and being honest and being open and being clear and being direct and thinking about everything I said before I said it. And is this a peaceful thought? And is this a loving thought? And um, is this a supportive thought? And what's the purpose in this? What is my intention? I'm not always fulfilling my intention, but I want to run my intention through a screen. And does this intention open me or does it close me? And does it create acceptance or does it create comparisons and conflict and differences? Um, and so yeah, recently it's this one thing. They have these sayings on the wall in these AA groups. One day at a time, and keep coming back. It works. And there's one. The This the letters. I'll just say it. I can't think of the word now. But anyway, KIS. And they would add an S to it. I'll tell you about the second S in a minute. But the KIS is keep it simple. And and I think that this is something that I have seen repeatedly is uh, that whatever it is an individual may be working on, and they find some release and relief from whatever it is they have diagnosed that they have, then often they tend to become more and more complicated in their thoughts and behaviors and relationships. And what I learned early is I have to keep it simple. I have to. If I was not going to keep it simple, I was going to drink and I was going to die. And that's not the place most people are. They don't see their situation as life threatening. And although I understand now when I'm in my comparing, when I'm in my looking at the world and judging what goes on out there, whether it be positive or negative, that I'm not with me in a sense. I am dead to me because the essence of my being is love. And my work is to see the light everywhere. And you can talk about how challenging it is in this day at this time to do that. But as human beings, what I've read and studied about anthropology and the history of humanity is we've been doing this forever. Human beings seem to do this repetitively. And I recognize that, yeah, I can personalize that I do these things repetitively and until I have done them enough, and then I make a change, but then there's this next thing that I end up doing repeatedly, and I'm still doing it. I'm still working on these things today. I'm aware of my tendency to to forget that my only work is to be an open mind and an open heart, and to speak spontaneously and to speak authentically, and not from here, not from what I've learned from reading, and not from what some teacher taught down to me. Yeah, I've had some amazing teachers, but it was never their intention to teach me. It was their intention to share their, again, experience, strength, and hope with me. And so, yeah, that's always my intention. I know that sometimes I spend a lot of time talking about my training or the things that I do, but these things that I do and these trainings that I do are my work to stay in peace. and I can't give myself permission to take a drink. I can't give myself permission to have a cigarette. I also cannot give myself permission to compare, and I can't give myself permission to speak for others and everyone's and alwayses and nevers and all of this grandiosity that comes from me forgetting. I was talking to this guy, and I said, I said, for me, the only time that I have a challenge, perceived experience of a challenge in my life, and that means being out of peace, is when I forget that I'm amazing, and I forget you're amazing. Okay, and so it can manifest in 1,000 different themes, millions of different topics, justifications for me to chase these stories and these thoughts down these rabbit holes. But basically, I'm not going to go down a rabbit hole when I remember that I'm amazing. And I'm not going to go down a rabbit hole when I remember that my brothers and sisters are amazing. Am I doing things that are always perceived by my intellect and ego as amazing? No. Am I perceiving that everything my brothers and sisters does is amazing? No. But the perceptions that I have of myself and the perception that I have of others is coming from my intellect and coming from my ego. So I'm going to see life in this way: black and white, and good and bad, and right and wrong, and good and evil. And it's like I can't, that space for me is drinking. It's the same thing. If I think in that way, I am fucked, just like I was when I drank. And so I was so grateful that I had whatever it is. I can't put it into words. If I would try to put it into words, it would be limited, or it would be a lie, because this thing does not know the truth. It only knows the information that it's been given, and it doesn't know. So when I come up with the word amazing, that frees me, and that's what I want to do. I want to use words that free me. I want to use words that open me. Again, I'm observing me with this intellect and with this ego. And through 40 years of self-observation, I've come to an understanding that when I spend more of my life at peace and not having intentions to be amazing, not having intentions to be accepted, not having intentions to be a winner, to avoid losing, to be accepted, to be loved. It's like, all right, I kind of went on a ramble there, but I do that from time to time, and I hope what you notice is me talking about me, and I invite you to talk about you, to look at you. What do you see when you look in the mirror? When you observe your thoughts, when you observe what comes out of your mouth, think about it. And if it's okay for you, it's okay for you. People can eat all the chocolate cake they want to. Doesn't work for me. I'm a dessert addict, People can drink all the alcohol they want. Not my fucking business, okay? They can do what they choose to do. I need to be clear that my thoughts, my words, my actions, my intentions have an effect on how I experience myself and my world today, tonight, tomorrow, the day after, and the day after. And for the rest of the days that I'm in this body. And then there's going to come a time where whatever happens that brings about me leaving my body, it's like, I don't know what the fuck comes next, and I don't want to know. I don't want a belief system that says this is what happens when you die. I don't want it. I want to live like I do today. I don't fucking know. I'm going to get on my treadmill in a little while. I don't know what that creates. After I get done being on my treadmill, doing some walk run, I'm going to go out in the weight room and I'm going to do some shit that most people my age with my physical conditions just don't do. And they don't do it because their doctor says or whatever. And it's like, I just do it. And I'm not doing it to be grandiose. I'm doing it because it's like, yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. Let's see that. Let's try that. Yeah, that hurts. Ow. Okay. Well, it doesn't stop me from doing it because it's painful. It just means that, ow, that hurt. And the old saying, what doesn't kill me makes me stronger. And I've become a strong son of a bitch over these last 70 years. And, I'm grateful. So I'm going to stop now. I'm going to get to work. And I guess I'm going to post this. Yeah, I'm going to do it. And then I love you guys. And yeah, here comes the year with the 6 at the end. Huh? What does that mean? I don't fucking know. But I haven't had to write it yet. So I'm going to have to do 2026 someday. But for right now, it's just a rumor. If I look at the top of my calendar, no, the calendar doesn't have it even. So cool. Anyway, yeah, this is what I do. This is how I do it. And I wish you all the best. And the best is based on my definition is always getting what I need, whether I want it, like it or not. Pow.